Yes.
It's showtime.
Time to take them away. Yeah, now we take them away. Good music's only a stone's throw away.
Gouge his eyes!
We hurt them with the big good stakes.
Melvin, guys and gals, what have we here?
A stone's throw away. Good music's only a stone's throw away. We hurt them with the big dirty bass. Tear up the session, so we smash down the place. We stand firm in the rhythm, do it this way. Set trends whether night or day. Terrorize your dance all straight. No time to waste, we keep you moving. We set the pace, sound you can't escape. Cause great is great.
With trillions
great
at his disposal,
open up your
far
mind
beyond
and
global
penetrate.
GDP.
Liven up the dance. Time to vibrate. No time to be late. You don't wanna miss it. Stay to the rhythm. Music, we got it.
Welcome everybody. How are we doing? Do you know what? I put so much work into the show tonight. And I just got to play a few jingles and
This one's for
the
my
jingles
steppers.
typically. Anyway, welcome everybody.
My
It's
head
Friday.
knowledge.
It is the 27th of December.
My body
Can you believe that?
rocks.
We're going to look into some airships tonight, zeppelins. Let's begin this session. Welcome.
It's all on you.
They're house wreckers, though, and here's sort of damage they did London suburb of Ipswich. Note how walls of building are still standing, and no wonder, for this is size of bombs, so impotent that in many cases, such as these, they don't even go off. Near ammunition dump at Malden, one bomb exploded and did local damage. So local, the building merely collapsed from shock of the blast. But rain of German bombs was serious business in Britain, even in First World War. Little dreaming of the 2-ton giant and city smashers to come in Hitler's time, English civilians organize and drill for bomb and invasion attack. Spike brigades are their mobile units, and men of Yarmouth marched in Battle of Britain that was awful.
This is Capital TV.
Throughout this great nation, never have we been more unified. Because now more than ever, Pan Am is speaking with one voice. The capital and the districts bound together in solidarity. Together.
This is Rebel Underground. We have audio, but no video.
We are forging a stronger future.
This is a pirate transmission from District. Stand by for signal. Repeat. This is a pirate transmission from District 13.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Roger, we got a roll for
Tower clear.
Roger, roll. Station.
Zion Control.
Indication. On range 70 miles, 43 miles high velocity, less than 300 feet per second.
Capcom, we're go for landing.
Altitude 4,200.
Houston, you're go for landing, over.
Roger, understand. Go for landing. 3,000 feet.
You're looking great.
Altitude 1,600.
Eagle looking great. We copy you down, Eagle.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
frequencies.
I'll be back.
A little bit about Operation High Jump, about the Germans, about the Germans Admiral Pad on screen, but it's really interesting, this whole Zeppelin story. It really is. It's fascinating because it seems to be so hidden. It seems to be so hidden. I'm trying to do my show a little bit differently tonight, and not get overwhelmed by all the software, because I do quite a lot. Anyway, in this clip here, I'm just going to run this actually. It's fascinating. It's I'll drop the link to this clip down below. Actually, we'll just get started with this now. But it's looking at Zeppelins, and there's another clip later about the 1800s. I watched it a couple of nights ago, and my God, absolutely fascinating. So we continue.
Ships. This was the height of the era, the time when airships were being experimented with by the nations that had been adversaries in World War I and would become adversaries again in World War II. What were the limits of the capabilities of these airships? Was this just a temporary foray by the civilizations at the time to develop a new form of transportation? Or is there another story behind these airships? Was this some sort of technology that was rediscovered from a previous civilization? Or is it simply as we're told in the mainstream account? Come join me today as we examine the account of airships and look for the actual explanation behind their rise and their fall.
I realize that nothing we've been doing is new. We haven't been tapping into new areas of the brain. We've just been awakening the most ancient.
Advanced airships, or the rigid airship design as it was known as. Originally, they started off being called Zeppelins, and they were developed in Germany, according to the official history.
Fucking voodoo
and
magic,
yet,
man.
The other nations that contended for dominance with Germany developed their own airships, such as these designs from the United Kingdom that followed after World War I. The official history also tells us that Zeppelins were used to bomb the United Kingdom during World War I, prior to the advent of the long-range bombers that were used in World War II. And we see many interesting and intriguing designs that show the capability of these rigid airships. We don't have anything like rigid airships now today. Of course, there are other forms of airships. We think of balloons, and we of course think of the blimps that we often see in football games, such as the Goodyear blimp. But we can look and see this development timeline here of the airships from the United Kingdom, and we can see that most of their development actually started before the interwar period. And so it seems as though there was more of a, at least, sharing of technology or an awareness of this airship technology. The rigid airships were the most advanced, and they had the greatest capability of the blimps, and of course the other variations of balloons that had been around, at least since the 1700s according to the official history. And naturally we see how all these airships ended up in the United Kingdom, destroyed in trials, deleted and demolished, and as you look in the other designs, that's what you'll see. Yet, in this particular exploration, I'm going to try to showcase some images that are a little bit more rare, at least in terms of awareness. And we can see that these airships included massive hangars. Other great capabilities that we often see in our explorations. There's also the many towers that have unique construction capabilities behind them that were used to moor these airships to. Perhaps the most interesting thing about airships, in addition to their all-terrain capability and their ability to move around regardless of certain situations, is where they can land or where they can moor to. This is a very interesting tower, and the building at the base of it is quite intriguing as well. What happened to all these towers? Were they all torn down? When we look at the rigid airship, though, we consider the mainstream historical account. We're informed that in the 1870s there was the initial idea to develop airships. Ah yes, another wondrous design plan that came from the 1800s, because what else would it be? Yet when you look at some of these images, you can see that there was a lot of detail that went into the construction of these airships. We have to think about the hangars, we have to consider all these materials that had to be assembled, processed, and yet at the same time, in the early 1900s to the 1930s, they managed to achieve all of this. Now, I'm not suggesting that this was impossible, just very impressive. And of course, the official history tells us why the airships had such a sudden rise to fame and popularity, and why they instantly diminished from their massive use. Would you be surprised to know that airships, or zeppelins as they were called from Germany, provided the first transatlantic transportation? So imagine what kind of infrastructure capabilities you'd have. We'll be looking at the Graf Zeppelin later, perhaps the height of design of the rigid airship, and also the means in which it was funded. Apparently, William Randolph Hearst, who we've looked at before, was a significant proponent of airships and even provided financial support. Here we can even see one of the remaining airship hangars next to modern fighters. Something about it does seem to indicate, though, a greater advanced technology, and that's probably one of the main reasons why airships are so compelling, especially to alternative researchers. And yet, even if you accept the mainstream account of history, you have to acknowledge the fact that there was quite a lot of focus that was put into the development of the airship. Going off of the official history, with Germany developing the first airships, or zeppelins as they called them, they seemed to understand the maximum capabilities that could be achieved with a rigid airship. There had never been any sort of flying device that could deliver munitions to another nation, and while this might be a more pernicious or violent form of use of airships, it does reflect their transportation capability. Indeed, with the construction of the Graf Zeppelin, we understand that Germany had achieved the heights of airship construction. And as part of the reparations for World War I, they even built an airship for the United States Navy, which apparently saved the Zeppelin program. This was the USS Los Angeles. So isn't this an intriguing account? We have Germany, who attacked the United Kingdom, and you can find no shortage of monuments across the United Kingdom about airship attacks or Zeppelin attacks that occurred in World War I. Yet, apparently, Zeppelins were not regarded the same way that naval warships were, because after World War I, there was a lot of limitation concerning the construction of naval warships, as people feared their use. But apparently they didn't fear the Zeppelin. And so the United States and the United Kingdom decided to build or order their own Zeppelins from Germany, and then eventually improved upon their designs. At least, again, that's what the official history tells us. Of course, if you step far enough back, you have to realize that there's a lot more that goes into the construction of these impressive airships. You can see that there are no shortage of images of these vehicles being docked to towers and also being landed on the ground. And so it seems as though there's no limit to their capability. You don't have the same constraints that you do when you're operating fixed-wing aircraft or even rotary-wing aircraft. You actually have a capacity to transport logistics in a means that you can't even begin to conceptualize. Oddly enough, the interior photos of airships seem to be quite limited, and we tend to see a very austere making of the interiors, as though the crews were a little bit cramped, and we have to recall that the availability of images may or may not reflect the reality of what technological achievements that were brought about with the rigid airship. Now, we referred earlier to the blimps and the balloons and why they were limited. They didn't match the rigid airship in terms of their range and their capability to transport vast amounts of materials or logistics across vast distances. Here we can even see the construction of one of the original airships that was taken to the United States, which is how we explain there already being a U.S. logo on the side of it for the United States Navy. Very intriguing. We can also see in other images all the effort that went into the initial construction. So step back and look at this holistically. You have to establish these massive hangars that are far larger than any of the hangars that we have for current fixed-wing aircraft. And you also have to be able to assemble all these advanced construction materials. They seem to be able to quickly share the designs and the plans and the schematics and rapidly assemble these airships. Also, from the mainstream historical account, there's no shortage of apparent disasters or failures that occurred. Some airships that were destroyed by bad weather, others that had simply been crashed for any variety of reasons, and this was well before the Hindenburg, which would be the final event that would end the era of the airship. So, in the mainstream historical account, we do have examples of the airships failing, but yet the nations did not deter from actually researching and building airships. Instead, they continued to build larger and more capable airships. But is that really what happened? Or, when we look at these images, are we actually seeing another example of technology that was recovered from a previous time, and the current nations of the current civilization were attempting to press these incredible devices back into service, trying to restore them, the same way that we theorize that older structures were actually restored and refurbished and brought back to service. Now consider if that may be true. Then it would explain why we have this rapid rise of airships across multiple regions. If Germany was so keen on its Zeppelin technology, then even after World War I, why would they be sharing it with the Allies, or at least the nations that were their former, and in the minds of many people at the time, according to the official historical account, their current adversaries? It tends not to make a lot of sense, and yet oddly enough, it's a bit of a parallel with what happened with World War II, as the German war machine developed weapons that were very advanced, and then once the war ended, the Allied nations, or at least the nations that had been the Allies that would become NATO, and even the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact nations, all wanted to acquire this advanced weapons technology. It goes back to that whole story of the jet fighter. The United States Air Force was initially surprised by the jet fighter, the Messerschmitt Me-262, and yet the swept-wing design did not provide the Germans a decisive advantage. Official history tells us that they didn't have enough of them. But then the United States was surprised in the Korean War a few short years later when the MiG-15 surprised them as a swept-wing design. Ah yes, these great militaries always being so surprised. But going back to the original designs of the airship, we can see that there was a lot of...
I'm just going to interject, okay? I've actually had to unplug my web camera because it unplugged my hard drive and some clips are missing, so it's all good. But have this in mind, like when we're watching this, right? Remember some of the stories from Max Eigen talks about it, Martin Liedtke talks about it, and they talk about just leave this playing
effort that was put into it.
They talk about events where all these great fires. I've got another clip actually. I think I've got a clip coming up later on. We're going to get into it from the channel My Lunch Break. Highly recommend it actually. Really good channel. I'll put a link in. He's got on Rumble and on YouTube. But bear in mind, like all these great fires, and it seems to me like these Zeppelins started appearing late 1800s, way before World War One, right? And they just seem to be so hidden. And I think, right, some group got hold of these Zeppelins and set fire to the world, kind of like what's happening now, but in a different civilization. And they erased the past empire with all these beautiful buildings. I'm not even going to call it Tartaria. It's associated with that, but it's fascinating. Like all these factories, look at the size of that factory. Like we're going to talk about later about buildings that were founded. Founded doesn't mean built or planned or constructed. It's crazy. But the other thing, right? There's a story from a village that the town was set on fire, and they were all up on a hill. They were all up on a hill, and all their metal buttons on their jackets and trousers were electrifying. They were like buzzing. Sparks were coming off them. So all this advanced technology, it's fascinating. You got to think about who controlled these Zeppelins just before World War One.
But yet the nations did not deter from actually researching and building airships. Instead, they continued to build larger and more capable airships. But is that really what happened? Or when we look at these images, are we actually seeing another example of technology that was recovered from a previous time?
I'll be back.
And the current nations of the current civilization were attempting to press these incredible devices back into service, trying to restore them, much in the same way that we theorize that older structures were actually restored and refurbished and brought back to service. Now consider if that may be true. Then it would explain why we have this rapid rise of airships across multiple regions. If Germany was so keen on its Zeppelin technology, then even after World War I, why would they be sharing it with the Allies, or at least the nations that were their former, and in the minds of many people at the time, according to the official historical account, their current adversaries? It tends not to make a lot of sense, and yet oddly enough, it's a bit of a parallel with what happened with World War II, as the German war machine developed weapons that were very advanced, and then once the war ended, the Allied nations, or at least the nations that had been the Allies that would become NATO, and even the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact nations, all wanted to acquire this advanced weapons technology. It goes back to that whole story of the jet fighter. The United States Air Force was initially surprised by the jet fighter, the Messerschmitt Me-262, and yet...
I'm just going to interject, right? I've just found my other clip, right? We're going to keep watching this, but before we watch any more of this, we're going to have a look at the Knights Templar, and they did indeed. They had, this is from Jared Brister's channel, they had drawings and designs of magnetic airships way back when, 11th, 12th, 13th century, apparently.
Called the Passarola, which, if the current narrative can be trusted, was powered by the Earth's natural winds and magnets. Furthermore, the Passarola was first proposed the whole way back in 1709, which would have predated the Montgolfier brothers' now accepted first ascent in a hot air balloon, which did not happen until 1782. So let us begin this narrative. The poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, better known as the Knights Templar, trace their origin to the year 1119 in Jerusalem. 20 years earlier, in 1099, Frankish forces of the First Crusade had captured Jerusalem from the Fatimid Caliphate. While Jerusalem was protected by Frankish soldiers at this time, as the Christian pilgrimages to Jerusalem began to increase, so did attacks on those making the journey, especially in the rest of the Crusader states, known as the Outremer. Bandits, raiders, highwaymen, and marauders frequented the paths most traveled to Jerusalem, preying on the weak. Under orders of King Baldwin II and Warmont, Patriarch of Jerusalem, a monastic Catholic religious order was created to protect the routes into Jerusalem. The Council of Nablus in 1120 made this official, granting the Templars housing on the Temple Mount in the captured Al-Aqsa Mosque. The poor fellows took the emblem of two riders on one horse to signify their poverty.
It's interesting that, isn't it? Just when he mentioned about the Crusaders, the Knights Templars, the Knights of Malta, all the Knights, the Europeans, they took Al-Aqsa Mosque, and there's still a battle for this mosque going on right now. We're going to get into the airships in a minute.
By the Council of Pisa in 1135, the Knights Templar began receiving their first donations from the Catholic Church under orders of Pope Innocent II. By the Papal Bull of 1139, the once poor order was exempt from paying taxes or following local laws, answering only to the Pope.
Just let me find this bit here.
Quickly became... At the same time, however, he was also Portugal's representative to Rome, and Alexandre served personally to Pope Innocent XIII. However, another more obscure detail Alexandre is known for is that he obtained and preserved copies of his brother Bartholomew de Guzman's treaty on airships, including his original design for a ship known as the Passarola. Bartholomew was also born in Sao Paulo, traveling to Portugal and gaining his doctorate in canon law, now called theology. Upon return to Brazil, Bartholomew showed much infatuation with mathematics and physics. By 1709, Bartholomew presented a petition to the King of Portugal, seeking royal favor for his invention of an airship, in which he expressed unbreakable confidence. His design called for...
Sorry to interject again, but there's a clip. Sail Away, welcome, Sail Away. Good to see you. I know she changed her name to Sail Away, Sail Away. There's a clip. There's a clip. Well, we're there. Back to the show. We're there. I've just lost my thread.
The spread of a huge sail over a boat-like body in the shape of a giant mythical bird. The body had the cover of a transport wagon. The boat itself was to contain tubes through which, when there was no wind, air would be blown into the sail by means of a powerful bellow. The vessel was to be propelled by the agency of magnets, which were to be encased in two large but hollow metal balls, like a gyroscope. The public test of this machine was set for June of 1709. Bartholomew conducted his research and creation of the Passarola flying machine at the Casa de India, or the House of India, in Lisbon. During the Age of Discovery, the House of India served as Portugal's international trade management center for territories, colonies, and factories in Asia and Africa. The Indian Vedas and other Hindu epics make numerous mentions of flying machines, often referred to as vimanas. According to published accounts at the time, Bartholomew was making great progress on his Passarola flying machine. He was named one of only 50 members of the Academia Real de Historia of Portugal, and furthermore, he was made a chaplain of the court in 1722. Yet, by all accounts, Bartholomew disappeared from the narrative without ever confirming his flying apparatus was created. Further clouding this argument, an article published on October 20th, 1786 in the Times, London, reacting to the Montgolfier brothers' balloon flights, makes mention of Bartholomew and his flying contraption. The article goes on to confirm that Bartholomew did indeed create the machine, or something very similar, and displayed it in front of numerous members of the royal court, who were entirely shocked by what they saw. Within days, the common folk of the town labeled Bartholomew a wizard and said he was possessed by evil.
You know, I'm just going to interject, Sail Away. Welcome Rachel, also welcome Kirsty C, welcome Luke, welcome all the regulars. It's funny because my YouTube account keeps getting disconnected from OBS like all the time, the last week or two. That's why I've not really been doing many shows, because I've been working on the boat and the priority is that at the moment. But yeah, we'll do this tonight, but it's they are messing around with I think it's AI, to be honest.
The article concludes that Bartholomew abandoned completing further work on the Passarola, instead burning and destroying his blueprints and notes and living a life of relative solidarity after fleeing to Spain. However, it also makes mention that numerous court members who witnessed the initial flight, including those from France, would return to their country with new ideas regarding manned flight. We're also told that Bartholomew's flight became infamous amongst the educated members of Christian orders worldwide. The Jesuits are noted.
It's like these drawings, these sketches, these paintings, etc. We see even of dragons, airships, huge animals, all the stuff. We're going to watch a clip, probably not yet, after the airship stuff. And this guy looks into the 1800s and it just totally, my lunch break, totally destroys the narrative. Absolutely. But these come from somewhere. This didn't come from, they're not all myths.
As calling Bartholomew the Flying Man, and furthermore were said to have prevented the loss of all of his work by sending some of his manuscripts.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Including his original drawing of the Passarola to his brother Alexandre, member of the Order of Christ. It is in the archives of the Order of Christ that this information and the artwork about the Passarola survives. And while it's often debated, it seems that the idea of lighter than air travel has been in society for hundreds of years earlier than the current narrative gives the idea credit for. We have a flying ship that is supposedly being propelled forward by magnet, also using natural air and wind bellows. And this is not only documented, but we have multiple accounts over time which have survived until today which make reference of it. All this was said to have occurred in 1709, almost 75 years before the Montgolfier brothers, who the current narrative gives credit for making the first ascent in a balloon. This is 75 years before their hot air balloon rose in the French sun. We have Bartholomew Guzman creating a flying vessel which seemed to use ancient, forgotten technology in the design. Magnets, natural wind, lighter than air travel, a phoenix flying through the skies over 315 years ago. And the only surviving records of it come from the archives of the Order of Christ, itself a secret offshoot of the Knights Templar, who themselves were persecuted without proper trials, and their thousands of artifacts and the knowledge of hidden history was silenced. Could the magnetic airship Passarola of 1709, with the information rediscovered in roughly 1786, could this be a remnant of an even earlier advanced civilization, one which could have been well known by the Crusaders of the Knights Templar, and may have been one of the nefarious reasons for the Knights Templar's downfall?
Yep, it's so interesting. Even like Wim's theory about the Knights Templar moving the Ark of the Covenant and creating the flood. All these it is a fascinating topic. Look, I'm just watching the chat. It is weird, strange as well, sail away. Very strange. Right, back to the airships. Yeah.
The swept wing design did not provide the Germans a decisive advantage. Official history tells us that they didn't have enough of them. But then the United States was surprised in the Korean War a few short years later, when the MiG-15 surprised them as a swept wing design. Ah yes, these great militaries always being so surprised. But going back to the original designs of the airship, we can see that there was a lot of effort that was put into it. You'll find these images that show these great airships operating over the wondrous cities of the land in the early 1900s. And according to the official history, the height of the airship was from the mid-1920s to the 1930s, ending with the Hindenburg disaster. A disaster that there just happened to be a camera crew there ready to film. And even though we have accounts of the other airships...
That's it, like the camera crew at the Hindenburg. It says it all, doesn't it? It says it all. All of us, like along this journey we're going on, like all this journey that we're all on, this awakening, this rising of our consciousness, the more intelligent you get, the more knowledge you get. Like the last couple of months, everybody's been talking about airships. It's like trends, isn't it? But I think like the clip, we've got more really good stuff to watch. I'll shut up and we'll continue, okay? But it's this jingle is very true, very true. Did you see the Royals at the Christmas? The Royals, oh my God, don't even get me started.
The poor always being fucked over by the rich. Always have, always will.
That failed in what seemed to be a spectacular fashion that were viewed by tens of thousands of people. This did not deter from the development. So what's really going on here? This is one of the questionable conflicting accounts that we have. Imagine what you could do, though, with the maximum capabilities of an airship. And looking at some of these advanced designs that we have, this seems to hint towards something that goes beyond what our understanding is of an airship. Now, granted, we're looking at images, and I acknowledge these images may or may not be authentic. That's always something we have to consider, because there do seem to be certain questionable aspects about them. But ultimately, I'll leave it to you to decide on the veracity of the images, as we always have to maintain a keen mind when we're doing these explorations. Do these really show these facilities that were actually discovered or rediscovered and pressed back into service that may have had these materials or these designs that were still stored within them for who knows how many of years? And we also have accounts of new materials that needed to be developed to complete the construction of these wondrous devices of transportation. So was it really what we were told with the historical development, that Germany had these great ideas in the 1870s and finally Count von Zeppelin managed to bring them about to a successful design, and then the other nations simply bought or copied the designs and then attempted to improve on them? Or is there something a lot more behind all this? That this was understood to be an advanced element of transportation technology that was now available to the Fifth Era civilization. that, like the buildings you can see in these images, that they press this technology back into service. Because you'll find, oddly enough, the association of the airship with many science fiction concepts. The ability to be able to travel without limited range and consider what other means of propulsion they may have had. There's many conflicting accounts about...
It's also why did they get rid of them? Because it was very cheap, very easy, long-range travel for the public. Then World War I started, then passports arrived. Just think about it, before World War I, there were no passports.
How fast these airships were actually able to travel. Mainstream agrees that they were limited to 60 to 80 miles per hour, and of course it depends on the wind, but we also think back to the earlier accounts of the sailing ships during the so-called Age of Discovery, and how traveling at 9 miles per hour was considered quite an achievement for these sailing ships, and yet somehow they managed to sail.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Tens of thousands of miles over just a few short months. That's from the mainstream historical account. Looking at some of the designs, though, of the rigid airship, and what makes it very impressive is the internal functioning and also the layout. Remember that the difference between the rigid airship and the blimp is that the rigid airship actually has the skeletal construction, which then has the outer skin put around it, and then, at least according to the official historical account, is filled with hydrogen. Although they prefer to use helium, as helium was certainly not flammable or inflammable or any of the other word tricks that you use with that which can easily catch on fire. You can see, though, that there are so many images that show that these rigid airships could land anywhere. There were towers that seemed to be all over the land that had to be constructed, in addition to the hangars. And here we see the Graf Zeppelin next to the R-101. Both examples of the height of rigid airship technology from Germany and the United Kingdom. And quite an impressive sight to see these two airships in the same image. The construction photos, though, are intriguing, as we oftentimes just see the skeletal examples of the hull of the rigid airships. But oftentimes we see few workers that are actually involved. There's also the matter of where were the designs for these incredible towers that seem to be all over the place. These towers that seem to be constructed just for the sole purpose of mooring an airship. Now you might ask, well, if they could just land anywhere on the ground, what would you need the towers for? Perhaps there was some other explanation for what the towers were actually used for. Or maybe we have to consider that there were so many airships that having the towers enabled you to moor...
Because everything's a fucking lie?
Or several of them to the tower. Granted, it's a theory, but when you look at some of the internal schematics for what we have of airships, there seems to be a lack of understanding for what their true layout or purpose was. Indeed, we have little notes that are added and other notes that are added to try to indicate exactly what the real purpose and layout of the gondola or the control center was. I think what's most...
Oh, sorry, we lost the plans. We went to the moon, then we lost the plans.
Intriguing to me about airships, and I will confess that I've always had a personal interest in aviation, and whether it's fixed-wing aircraft, rotary aircraft, and of course airships, there's always the amazing capability of what flying could really provide to a civilization. You could say it ultimately frees the individual to be able to travel anywhere in the land. It also gives the capability of a civilization to rapidly transport large quantities of material, improving the infrastructure. You don't need to rely on roads. Now, of course, we do have to acknowledge what are some of the vulnerabilities with the airship. Officially, we understand that they are vulnerable to bad weather. Also, they could not travel as fast as the fixed-wing aircraft that were just in their infancy. Although I think what's most interesting to me when I did the research concerning rigid airships is the fact that they were the ones that provided the first transatlantic transportation capability. Long before Lindbergh even did his first transatlantic flight. And
just going to interject because I'm just watching the chat, and welcome Dragon Sage, thanks buddy. And was it Luke? Luke's talking about Tesla and Edison, and he talked about Jules Verne. Walt Disney was part of it, I think, a few other explorers as well. I'm going to play a clip now. If you don't know about the Plus Ultra Society, do check it out.
The site is active. greatest minds in history abandoned us, and they don't want us to know about tomorrow. 126 years ago, it began, but now we must uncover their secrets and stop Plus Ultra. If you discovered a secret place where nothing was impossible, would you keep it to yourself?
I don't understand you! It's crazy! You understand?
So these guys, this is a secret society, is kind of one of the more unknown ones. I've done an episode on it, Tomorrowland and the Plus Ultra Society. Anyway, you can check it out. But really interesting because I think somebody said the weather, Beach Motors said the weather changed in around 1930s. It's true because that's when they started controlling the weather. You know, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. We're going to need a bigger boat, I think. And my mic wasn't even off. How about that?
The great masters of aviation from the late 1920s through the 1930s achieved their feats. When you look at some other images of the components of airships, you can't help but be impressed by how advanced they appear. Here we see examples of the
crossing blades with a pirate.
Interior design having construction materials that seem to match some of the most capable and advanced materials that went into planes. And keep in mind what we know about fixed-wing aircraft from World War I. They were very rudimentary.
It's quite remarkable, though, when, again, you consider the fact that you have...
Right, do you know, I'm just going to go on to a different clip. This guy, hang on a minute. We've got somebody find this dude, man. Check it out.
Says he was exiled from a land beyond the ice wall, and our realm is a prison. Says he was exiled from a land beyond the ice wall, and our realm is a prison.
Sounds fucking true to me, doesn't it? Right, so we've done that clip. We're going to look at, let's look at, before we get into the final part of it, these victory columns. I've not actually watched this, but it's from Order Campbell from Autodidactic, but it's only 10 minutes.
Have you heard about victory?
It links to what we've been talking about. Then we're going to get onto the 1800s, a fascinating story. It's crazy.
Realm that are remnants from the Tartarian age, and they seem to look like they could be airship moors or, you know, mooring masts, airports, whatever we want to call them. Basically, you know, the infrastructure for old world travel. So today I want to have a bit of a talk about victory columns and the connection to airship ports.
Just to interject, right, about people talking about cathedrals, and what I think about the bell, the vibration from the acoustic bell, and the light coming in the stained glass, the combination of the acoustic vibration plus the light frequency. Cathedrals are healing centers.
And we need to be self-educated. But basically they share some striking similarities to each other, and also
it's like all these towers, all these old airship towers, they just stuck statues on them.
To some buildings that we have photos of, like the Empire State, the Chrysler building, where we actually can see airships moored to the top of these buildings. And, you know, they have the decks around them for passengers to board, to get cargo on board, etc., etc. So with these victory columns, they all have an entrance door at the base, and within them is a spiral staircase that goes all the way up to another door that leads out to what they call an observation deck at the top. And again, that we're just told that they're just these towers that were built, you know, to honor different people. Now there's a statue on the top of them all. And so you walk up this massive spiral staircase just to get on the observation deck and have a look, I guess. But I'm pretty sure that that narrative is false, and they had a different use in the old world. So the whole design with the door at the bottom, the spiral staircase, and the viewing deck makes me ask the question, what were they really used for? Because obviously we should question everything, and especially when it comes to history, right? So could they have been more than monuments? Were they in fact airship mooring masts of the Tartarian age? We've all seen the pictures, and we know that in Tartaria, airships ruled the skies, right? That was the preferred means of travel. And of course, you know, today, thanks to the Zeppelin and that big false flag, that, you know, we're no longer allowed to use airships. We all have to go to airports, right? Use planes, go, you know, have our ID and our passports and go through all this surveillance and all this other crap that they've brought into it, which of course, if we all had access to airships or our own airships, they wouldn't be able to enforce, because airships really give you freedom of travel, because they were, at least back in the day, as far as I can tell, they weren't part of multinational companies, you know, they weren't controlled.
They're not here.
And of course, today with aeroplanes, that it's completely controlled through the airports, and they also control all the airspace and tell us where they can fly. So basically where you can go and also what you can see out the window, apart from the fact that airplanes fly very high. So most of the time you can't see much of what's below you, right? But in an airship that, you know, move a lot slower as well and have these viewing decks in them, you could go across the realm and you could see exactly what was underneath you. So aeroplanes, the introduction of aeroplanes and all the regulations that go along with it, basically can be used to hide the parts of the realm that they don't want us seeing or going to. So on the top of these victory towers, we find statues that symbolize victory or triumph. So the question is, what was the victory? What was the victory? Why are they victory towers? Does it maybe symbolize, just through the name, of the invasion, right? Of conquering and destroying the Tartarian age, right? Victory over Tartaria, victory over the old world, and introduction to a world that is now controlled and ruled. You know, why are they called victory towers? It's an interesting question, right? So what was the original use of these structures? Because like I said, they're, you know, apart from the fact of how did they build them, because they're very tall and built very well, very solidly, just like all the old world buildings. And we don't have any construction photos, of course, again, but we do have pictures of these victory towers showing us that they do have staircases inside of them, right? A door at the top, a door at the bottom. So it's basically a tower just made to get you high off the ground. And were these statues added later? Was there originally mooring masts up there that the airships could tie up to, right? And take on passengers, let other passengers leave and basically get up and down from the ground, because that is what they look like. And like I said earlier, we have pictures of buildings like the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, and other, you know, skyscrapers from the early 20th century that have spires on top of them that look like they were made to accommodate airships. But we also have the photographic evidence of airships actually docked at these sites, which suggests that, again, we're being lied to, and these towers and also the buildings were actually used as airship mooring points, right? The airports of the old world. So by renaming and repurposing these victory towers from airship docking stations, it gives governments and the ruling class control over our skies. Like I said, it controls where we can go, what we can see. And of course, we know by studying aeroplanes that there are flight paths, right, that they can't deviate from. And we're definitely not allowed to fly across the Pacific. We're not allowed to go south to Antarctica or north to the Arctic. So all of our air travel is now controlled. And of course, so is ground travel, right? With countries, with borders, passports, all this other type of stuff. So it's all a consolidation of power to keep us hemmed in, to keep us in the world that they want us to believe that we're on, right? The globe, right? The globe where there's nothing left to discover. But I think we all are aware at this point that there is actually more to discover, especially north and south. But there may even be other lands within the Earth that we're on, right? Out in the Pacific. There's plenty of places there could be other lands that are inhabited, but because they control the airspace, we don't know about them because we can't go there. And it's also worthy to note of the rapid advancement in airplane technology, because by the time of World War I, which started in 1912, we had aeroplanes that were dogfighting, right? These bi-winged planes. And, we had lots of them, right? They were used in the war. They were all in the skies, flying around, shooting each other down. And that was just 9 years after the Kitty Hawk flew. I think they say it was like 30 meters or something on the beach with the Wright brothers. So how did we get from that? Like the first...
Right, we're going to get into the second part of the show, a look into the 1800s. This is fascinating. I've just got to try and locate the timestamp and then we'll continue. Hope everyone's enjoying the show. Do give the show a like and a share if you can, because they shadow ban the crap out of me.
Lines of latitude and lines of longitude.
Were buildings that are said to be
and open this stuff hut ball, stool ball in 1792. How does that happen?
I think it's about him. Just trying to find a way to spot. Yeah, it's about here.
Form of research refers to it as Tartaria.
The guy talks about this is from my lunch break. I'll put the link in the description after the show. But this is amazing. I watched it last night. Just enjoy it. It's proof. Like, it's so obvious.
It's called Chinese Tartary, not Tartaria. Tartary.
Some about here. Yeah, here.
We're told that this is
anything for hundreds and thousands of years until our amazing society showed up. Is that true? Or are we getting an ego boost to distract us from the truth? History tells us that we are the greatest. And we are, right? Well, that building is amazing, but we're still the best. Okay, that building is even better. What is that? Wait, they had wireless energy? What is going on? Fine, I'll admit it. The mainstream narrative is lying. What a great way to get people to believe the narrative. Tell them that they're the best. Who is going to question that? I guess some like us will, but the majority won't, for now. We look around and most of these incredible ancient buildings were taken over by banks or the USA. The USA and banks were both created and right after that, we get all these brand new inventions. If we had these buildings in the 1800s, there's no doubt they had technology that is also hidden from our history. Other types of technology other than just building. If this timeline is planned, then all previous history is false or extremely altered. If this is true, and this isn't the first time the car and the light bulb were invented, where are we? And when was the first time it actually was invented? How long ago?
What are the odds that the USA is formed in 1776 and 16 years later the stock market comes to be in 1792? How does that happen? And why do both of these things get all the great...
This bit is amazing, and he's bang on the money. Absolutely bang on the money. Like what's happened in our, say, 200-year history is just nuts. It's so fake.
Buildings. Have you seen photos of this building? If you've watched any of my previous videos, you will know that this building was found, claimed, and repurposed. Absolutely incredible architecture. 12 years after the stock market's formed, we have the first train. What are the odds? So these people needed to get around, right? So in 1804, we have the first train. In 1817, the first bicycle was created. So a servant to the Duke of Germany made the bike. A servant. This reminds me of the stories where the prisoners built all the Capitol buildings. What a joke. Nothing happened for hundreds and thousands of years, but in the matter of like 20 years, we got the USA, we got the stock market, the first train, and now we got a bike. And this is just crazy. Of course, we have to wait a long time now, till 1863 for anything else to happen. What torture. 1863, soccer was created. They had no games before this. Nobody played any games. No fun, no getting around, nothing. For thousands of years. No fun. Finally, we have some fun in 1863, and we have the first phone in 1876. So you can see we're getting some fun, we're getting some toys, we're doing some technology, we're introducing it to the community once again, in my opinion. That same year, 1876, we got another game created, the Major League Baseball. So now we have 2 games. Now things are getting fun. So the mainstream narrative can't figure it out. They don't know where baseball came from. They say maybe from a game called Tutball, Stool Ball, Flanders, Rounders. They just don't know. Then in 2005, someone wrote a book called Baseball Before We Knew It. And they don't know what the heck is going on. People are starting to use trains and bikes and phones and sports, all in the matter of a few years. Go figure. Nothing happens for thousands of years, but as soon as the USA opens up, everything starts happening. What are the odds? It's starting to rain here, if you can hear it. I'm sorry. In 1878, the first light bulb. So now we've got electricity. 2 years after the phone, we are pumping this stuff out, guys. I mean, we got the phone, we got the light bulb. People are just brilliant in this time period, huh? Creating games. Oh wait, what? Only 8 years later we got the first car? This is no way. If you believe this narrative, if you believe that everything just happens at the same time and nothing happened ever before this, then I'm sorry. This is not possible. 1895, we got the first power tool, okay? No more chisels, we have tools. Just incredible what's happened in the last few years. What were people doing in the 1400s? They must have been bored with no lights, no cars, no nothing. What were they doing in 2,000 years ago? I have no idea. I mean, oh my gosh, they must have been hiding in a cave, if you believe the mainstream narrative. Well, 8 years after the first power tool, we definitely need to start flying a plane, right? So in 1903, we got the first plane. Let's just start flying these things around. The Wright brothers were so smart. Their mom must have been so proud. The first airplane flew 852 feet on its 4th and final flight, supposedly. But get this, it was damaged while landing. And minutes later, a powerful gust of wind blew it over and wrecked it. Couldn't write that any better. It had to get blown over by wind. And then, in 1920, the NFL was created. So we've got tons of games, tons of tech. We are just going. Our society is the best ever. I mean, you'd think that all this would be created over a long period of time. It just comes right out, right after the next one, right after the next one, right after the next one, because 7 years later, in 1927, we get the first TV. People are making cars, planes, trains, TVs, power tools, electricity. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But of course, the USA, the government, and the stock market were first. They were before all of this. Right before all of it. Not way before all of it, just right before. Right before. In 1936, we have
I am totally on board with this. I just searched all of the information he's putting out on Google, and it does come up as true. So I'm because Google says it's true. It must be true.
First computer. So now we have TVs, computers. I mean, what's next? 1946, the NBA started. So basketball starts with the most ridiculous story of all time. They started the game of basketball with a peach basket and a soccer ball. You know, all of us, we all just make games on our free time with peach baskets that turn into multi-billion-dollar industries. And in 1983, the internet was created. Just incredible. This timeline is so short, yet everything you need. And you had nothing before this. How do you go from nothing to everything This is proof, in my opinion, that they had all this stuff. They know how to run a society from scratch. They implant it right into our society after a few years, and here we are today.
All right, it's been about 5 months since we discussed possibly the main point in all of this, and possibly the biggest, clearest giveaway that is given to us through the mainstream narrative. And that is that nearly every major invention, from planes to trains, cars to phones, computers and light bulbs, radios and major sports organizations, everything was given to us in the last 300 years. They went from cavemen all the way to the society that we know it now, all due to evolution? No, there's a different, much more
always being fucked over by the rich. Always have, always will.
more logical explanation than to think that people were writing letters with duck feathers until us geniuses came around, and we are going to dive way deeper down this truth hole today. We are told that the USA begins in 1776. Immediately after, 16 years later, we have the stock market open up. And as we have talked about before, and this is where evolution, for whatever reason, finally starts to work for once. And the whole world supposedly becomes so intelligent and starts creating flying crafts and engines and phones, trains, TVs, and the rest of it. This is absolutely insane to believe. Then we have Australia that comes into the picture in 1901. The main issue that we have here is that we have the construction from the past civilization that is sitting here staring at us right in our faces. Buildings that we do not recreate today in 2023. Cities such as Budapest that have a coffee shop, a parliament building, and chocolate museums that look straight out of the movies. We have identified nearly 100 fire stories to this point, where buildings that are said to be built in the 1800s that clearly are from the old world are completely destroyed due to a fire, even though they're mostly made of stone, which is not flammable. Understanding this massive historical lie, understanding that there was a previous civilization right before us that is no longer here, where they went or what even took place that removed them from this place is what we want to know. They left all of their structures here for us to see.
Right,
in my opinion,
like, what you just said, right? Because like what they've tried to do,
they left all of their technology.
What they're trying to do now. Think about there's a reset coming up. It looks like it, right? And they reset us maybe a couple hundred years ago, 200-300 years ago. It looks like, but with their next reset, they are going to have us trapped in this digital meta world system. I don't think they'll get away with it, but it's been reset after reset after reset, and there's a group of people in this world that are pretty nuts, and they still hold the power, and things need to change. Back to the show.
Sneaky little hobbits.
All major movies have been recreated. They know what we like. We are told that the USA removed them from this place is what we want to know. They left all of their structures here for us to see. In my opinion, they left all of their technology. They were able to construct the St. Mark's Basilica in 4 years. From 828 to 832, but didn't have a light bulb? Give me a break. They built the inside with candlelight. Oh, and don't forget that it lasts forever. Unlike anything that we build today, even though this was in a time period before they even knew how to make paper. It really is incredible that once you get it, you don't go back to not getting it. You can see it all very clearly in nearly every town in the world. This past civilization had much more technology that we have not been given back yet. We have been given the car back, the train, the plane, the TV and cell phones, the light bulb and computers, internet and power tools. All major movies have been recreated. They know what we like. Refrigerators, cameras, GPS, video games, all of this in the...
It's like now, right? Sorry to interrupt again, but it's like now there are no good new movies. There's no imagination left. There's no creativity. We have it, but they don't because they're, sorry to say, but they're so stupid in a way. And that's why I think Hollywood is dead, because there is no imagination left. They've done it all. They're not like us. They're not as intelligent as us. Think about it. If you were sat as one of these royals with all the time in the world, you could come up with the best plan in the world. You know, like they do not have the creativity, the intelligence, the imagination, and the spark that we have.
the last 300 years. In my opinion, like I've said, they have had all of this technology, and this includes AI. I'm starting to find the same narrative too many times, all over the world.
This is a great point, right? He gets into it, and amazing, this AI theory. I talked about it a couple of years ago about AI simulations, about AI simulation dream worlds that we might be trapped in.
I am now leaning towards an AI that most likely created all of these insane, ridiculous narratives. For every one of these buildings, the repetition of the plots and the repetition of characters gives it all away. How long has AI, or more specifically this ChatGPT stuff, really been around? Do you think this is the first time? I definitely do not. We get characters from the East Coast that somehow make it over to Chicago and then over to California within a matter of a 1 to 2 year span, with no articles of them ever existing. Or they were store managers and not architects like we have proven. Or they were in Alaska at the time that they were supposed to be in Texas. If you have used ChatGPT, you will fully understand how simple this would be to create a false narrative using AI. And if we are allowed to use ChatGPT, what kind of AI do you think they have? Even languages are very interesting. Were all these languages developed all over the world to keep us from being able to share valuable information with each other, to better ourselves, and to free ourselves from the insane controlled system? In my opinion, I think that's clear and obvious at this point. And it seems like once we become bored or uninterested in the item, they release the next item of technology that the past civilization already had. This group of people have much more to release, to profit off of, and to use to control the masses and manipulate the minds. We have talked about books in the past and how it is important to have them. If this trend continues for another 100 years, where people use books less and less, at a certain point there will not be any books. If our information is wiped from the computers, what will be left? The answer is nothing. Nothing will be left. And this is how history can easily be rewritten, to trick the next civilization into thinking that they are the first ones, and that cavemen in the 800s built the St. Mark's Basilica in 4 years, and so much more. How have we been so naive for so long? Why are we just waking up to the nonsense as a whole? We are fully investigating the historical nonsense that we have been force-fed. Was Columbus even real? I'm leaning towards no. And the fact that we argue whether he was a good guy or a bad guy is exactly what they want us to do. Once you pick either good or bad, it is actually an acknowledgement that he was real, and you are accepting their nonsense. 1492, nobody named Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Not in the Pinta, not the Nina, or the Santa Maria. He didn't trick Indians, none of this happened. These are all mind control tactics that are implemented at a very young age. And songs work the best. In my personal opinion, the fact that everything has been given back to us in the last 300 years systematically proves that there is a group of individuals that are controlling this and giving misinformation about the historical narrative. This is not by accident. It's not mathematically possible for there to be no electricity for thousands of years. And out of nowhere, we have all of this technology. And the same goes for the possibility that every house in your neighborhood has been burned to the ground. That's impossible. Yet nearly every old world building holds a fire story in its narrative. And every major city has had a great fire. And are these fires great? Not for us, but I think for them. To destroy all of the past civilization's things. All happening within the last 200 to 300 years. But why lie about the history? Well, why not? You get to hold on to all the power over all the people. You've done it all before. You know how the system works. You've got all the kinks out in the past civilization. Now you get to control the banking system, all technology, the governments, what the people watch, what the people listen to. You control what is acceptable in society. You control what is not acceptable in society. And what is thought of as crazy. Why wouldn't they reset the system and control it all for their advantage? Releasing old world tech to their advantage when there was already free energy. Some people have asked, why would they lie about all of this? When all people should be asking, why wouldn't they lie about this? Do you think that this place that we live is really designed so that we couldn't supply ourselves with food, with energy, with water? We are manipulated and in a trance. Do even 1% of people supply themselves with food? Why are we told that the sun, the one thing that creates all life, the one thing that grows the healthiest things in the world to eat, and gives vitamins to you is dangerous and should be avoided. Where did our common sense go? I think now is the time that we find it. Bring it back and take control of our lives again. I have said this many times. This is not just about buildings. This is not just about history. This is much deeper and much more important. This is my opinion, of course, but I think this is going to be a good episode to come back to for most people that would like to introduce someone new to this topic of the old world. Or a simple reminder of what we have been told is the truth versus what is really going on in front of our faces. Now, I have been seeing a few people across multiple platforms that haven't really looked into this topic that are saying that just because we have done this before and can see the buildings here in front of us, this automatically means that we are able to construct these buildings today if we wanted to, even though we never do and never will. We have all the tools and make mistakes all the time. Our buildings and bridges fall apart after 100 years, but the ones from the 1800s and much longer before that were built with perfection and not one flaw, thrown together in less than a year, without blinking an eye. It was simple. Perfect stonework. Never a mistake. Remember, in 2023, we use actual construction companies. We have the tools. Not slaves, not prisoners, not horses and wagons. We are supposed to be so much better than the people of the 1800s. This is what they tell us. This is the motorcycle mainstream narrative. Evolution, of course. But we have proven time and time again that the people from the 1800s built Capitol buildings over and over and over in less than a year. Basilicas, cathedrals.
Has anybody seen it's like a crazy Gothic cathedral in the Colombian jungle? And like, watch the video now, like all these videos now, like you can see all around the world, Taiwan, Russia, Colombia, Cuba, everywhere, Europe, Australia, Chile, everywhere, there's the same type of building. It's obvious what happened. And like, you know, they will not let us find out about it because the previous world was a much freer world and they had free energy, and they've really done a number, especially on the boomers, and that period in time between 1945 and year 2000 till Tony Blair got in.
We were able to build these buildings so fast, so well, with untrained workers, people that have never constructed anything before, prisoners, people that went to jail for any reason at all. They could all build cathedrals in every country, in every town, in every century, except for this one that we're in today. They built so many of them and so fast that they could just afford to knock them all down when they were done. This is what we're told, of course. In my opinion, none of this happened. In my opinion, these buildings are from the previous civilization, and our entire history timeline is a complete fabrication. And this is proven time and time again. And the fire story gives it all away, every time. Let's expose the lies even further. Here we are in Texas, more specifically, 414 St. Joseph Street, Gonzales, Texas. And why?
This story is like the story, his research, is what he's put together here, what you're going to watch over the next 15 minutes is amazing. It's amazing. This is why I'm putting this episode in.
Why are we here? Well, they have the Gonzales County Courthouse. And in my opinion, the narrative is lying. Are we all ready? Here we go. The contract was awarded to Furman Morin on June 26, 1894. But wait, there's something weird going on here. We're told that this wasn't the first courthouse on this site. This is the second building to serve as the county courthouse. Well, what do you mean this wasn't the first one? What happened to the first one? The first Gonzales County Courthouse burned down on December 3rd, 1893. Do you notice how fast they tried to throw that in there? It was like they thought we wouldn't notice or something. Of course we will. This is what we do. Look at how they worded it, too. They didn't even say the first building or the first courthouse. They just quickly say the first burned on December 3rd, 1893. And they just want to move on like nothing happened. So we get the nod. Another fire story. Very interesting. And also the clear giveaway that this is a building from the past.
The Matrix is older than you know.
It's a freak show
and the freaks are running the show.
Past civilization. In my opinion, and a reminder that there was never a fire here on this site. This is simply a nod to their group, that this building is from the old world. Now, let's continue shredding this nonsense apart. We are told that the second county courthouse was completed on April of 1896. The contract was awarded in June of 1894. They get their superintendent for the construction in 1895. And then in April of 1896, the building is done. And this all happens in basically 2 years after the first one burned down. And it's weird, because it takes almost as much time to find the superintendent as it does to actually build the entire building, and it lasts forever. So let's get this straight. They are telling us that December 1893, the first one is in flames, and we have no idea who built that one, or anything about it, and don't ask any questions about that one. And then 6 months later, it's gone, and all cleaned up by June of 1894, and the contract is ready to roll. And from June 1894, we wait until some point in time in 1895, so at least 6 months, but could have been 18 months. Since they don't share the information, we have to speculate. So let's meet in the middle at 12 months to find a construction guy. And then he knocks this thing out somehow by April of 1896. Who believes that he did this in less than a year? How many people worked for him? It's just weird that they tell us that he was just an owner of a quarry that had limestone in it. Now all of a sudden, he is a construction superintendent guy that builds massive courthouses in a year. Wow, the 1800s were incredible. You could truly be anything you want back then. Amazing. And a total joke of a story. This is absolute insanity, that this kind of stuff is what we are supposed to believe actually happened. We all understand that in order to build a massive courthouse, you would need to get all the materials there. We would need to have a proper amount of construction workers that are properly trained. This quarry owner can't just go build it himself. We would need the proper equipment. Incredible architecture. The planning had to be perfect. Using the specs that they give us on this courthouse, I asked ChatGPT a question, and the answer was eye-opening. I asked hypothetically, how long would it take to build a courthouse in 1895? And how many men would you need? I asked if it could give me a breakdown of how much material would be needed, and also include other details that are important in constructing a courthouse that covers 2.7 acres. I explained that it is a building in a Romanesque revival style, with eclectic details, meaning it covers other types of architecture designs, and that it will be built with red brick and white limestone trim. Now these are the specs that we are given from the mainstream narrative. This is what they tell us. They tell us this information because they have to. The thing is literally sitting here looking right at us. For anyone that wants to go look at it, you can walk right up to it and see it. Or you can see a picture of it as we are right now. So let's see what this AI tells us. We are told that constructing a courthouse in 1895, in the specs that they stated, would have been a significant undertaking. And here is the breakdown. Just the design and planning would have taken pretty much a year. Just because it's 1895, you still need permits and approvals. This happened in 1895. This isn't cavemen days, where you just get to build massive buildings and not tell anyone about it. So the fact that they're ignoring this part of the story over and over is crazy. This would have taken another couple months. So then we move on to the materials. We are told that the amount of red brick needed would depend on the design and size of the courthouse. Courthouses that cover 2.7 acres could use hundreds of thousands to millions of bricks. This is an unbelievable amount of material just for bricks alone. The process in getting these materials to the site is not easy. So then the white limestone trim. 100,000 cubic feet of limestone. The wood for interior elements, including flooring, stairs, and doors. A substantial amount of wood would be required. Then we will need steel and glass, and not just any glass. They have to be perfect for windows, in the Romanesque revival style. Now, of course, the best part, in my opinion, because they don't even mention any people that helped this quarry owner guy. The labor, the number of workers needed would vary, but constructing such a massive courthouse might require hundreds of laborers. Hundreds? And not a mention of one in this story? And this isn't even to build it in a year. This is just saying to build it in a respectable timeline. So to build it in a year, there had to be way more than hundreds of workers like we're told. Amazing. Okay, you would need bricklayers, carpenters, masons. Oh, did I say that? Steelworkers and general laborers. When we are told that slaves and prisoners built these places in a year, just remember this and ask yourself if you think this is true or not. Now we have the construction time. Given the scale and complexity, construction could take several years, perhaps 3 to 5 years. The Romanesque revival style, with its ornate details, would require careful craftsmanship, which takes time. So these workers had to have been trained and been good at it, especially finishing it in a year. This is insane. How were these workers not world-renowned? Wouldn't there be statues of them? They probably could have made the statues themselves in their backyards in a couple of days, since they were so good at it. And now, of course, we have the ridiculous part of the transportation. Transporting materials to the construction site. And before we get into this, I want to mention this, that they don't mention this in the story. And I think they don't on purpose, because it is so insane. Here we go. Transporting materials to the construction site would require horses, wagons, and likely a nearby source of limestone. Okay, so the horses and wagons moved the 100,000 cubic feet of limestone from the quarry. What a joke. Now they will need tools, of course. You can't do this without tools. So here's the tools and equipment section. Tools of the time would include hammers, chisels, saws, cranes, and various other hand tools. Just hammering and chiseling away in 1895 to 1896 with their horses and wagons. The fact that they tell us these buildings go up all over the world in a year is such a lie, in my opinion. You'd need a source of water for mixing mortar, and for the workers. If it's a large project, which this one definitely is, you might even need on-site housing for the workers, which they don't have on-site housing for the workers. Have you ever seen a narrative say this? No. They ignore the actual logistics in every narrative. You need people to build these places, and people need things, such as housing, food, water. This is common sense, yet never mentioned. Stone carvers and artisans would be required for this work. What was their names? Did the quarry owner do that himself? No. Which company had pro stone carvers and artisans? And of course, supervision. You'd need a skilled supervisor and project managers to ensure the work proceeds smoothly and to quality standards. And this is literally the only part that we are given. The only part we are given is the person that should be watching over all of the things that actually have to happen. I'm going to put this in sports terms. They're basically telling us the name of the coach for the Patriots, and then forgetting to tell us all about Tom Brady, or the coach's name of the Lakers and the Bulls, and not saying anything about Kobe, LeBron, Michael Jordan, or Dennis Rodman. All we get is Phil Jackson and Frank Vogel. This is insane. This is not working anymore. So I asked it to be more specific with the timeline. I said, so in all, how long would this all take? It responded with this. Given the complexity and scale of constructing a courthouse, covering 2.7 acres in the Romanesque revival style, with red brick and white limestone trim, in 1895, the entire process could take 1 year to just design and plan it. Another several months to permitting and approvals, several more months to a year for the materials, and 3 to 5 years to build the building. So in total, it mathematically and logistically should take anywhere from 4.5 years to 7.5 years. This is unbelievable, considering so many times we are told that a building goes down in a fire and then another one is built in a few months. This kind of brushing it off with a few months kind of thing isn't working anymore. And I don't want to end the episode yet. I want to go even deeper and even more specific. So I asked, how many horses would they need for this project? And here we go. The horses would be needed for 6 major things in this project in 1895. Transporting, milling and lifting, general labor, site grading and excavation, water and power, cranes and heavy lifting, and getting the cranes there to the site, of course. This would take 20 to 30 horses to finish the project in 4.5 to 7.5 years, not 1 year. So we all understand. They would need way more than 30 horses. And we all understand that horses need water. Remember, this is for 30 horses for possibly 7.5 years. I want to make that point extremely clear. This is not the 1 year timeline that we're told. Now here we go. Let's absolutely destroy the narrative and end it forever. that any building anywhere in the world, like this one, could not be simply built in a year and just brushed off with zero explanation. How much water would the horses actually need? This is a key point that cannot be ignored, like it is in the mainstream narrative. A typical horse would drink anywhere from 5 to 15 gallons of water per day for a project like this. This is to properly keep the horses hydrated, or they will die, especially in Texas, where it's extremely hot in the summer months. For only 30 horses, you would need 300 gallons of water per day. This is only 10 horses over 7.5 years. Where is all this water coming from? Why is this massive point ignored? The point alone proves that this project did not happen in a year. This is such a horrible slip up for the narrative. And it is the most important part of the logistic project that needs to be taken care of. Without the water supply for the main transportation for the project, none of this happens anywhere in the world in the 1800s. From this point on, a narrative that tells us that they built a building in a year in the 1800s without explaining the massive supply of water for the horses should be looked at as a lie. Incredible. This is a major failure by the narrator, a massive flaw that now opens the floodgates. This narrative is not possible. Did they think that we would never question this? And now we know that this type of construction is not even close to possible. We are waking up to the nonsense. We are educating each other, building a group of people that are not just accepting lies and actually questioning. We are looking into things, and the more we look, the easier it gets. The more answers we find, and the more truth comes through. And the more that we know, the harder and harder it is to lie to us. Once you know the truth, like I always say, you don't go back to not knowing. You are now awake, and you will take this information with you and apply it to the next story, where they will tell you that a building was built in a year by a quarry owner that never built anything before and never again in his entire life. And we have a bonus today as a thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. But before we do this, I'm going to make this extremely clear. I do not have a problem with any group, race, religion, or any of that. These narratives cover all races, religions, and agendas. So now that we're clear on that, we have the Yeshiva University High School. This is a modern Orthodox Jewish day school located on 2540 Amsterdam Avenue, New York, New York. It only has 300 students aged 14 to 18. Only boys are allowed in this school. For anyone that has not seen episode 35, you may want to check that one out after this, so you fully understand the legal definition of the word founded. Let's pretend that we constructed an incredible building that looks just like this one. Would we say that we found it, or would we say that we built it? Honestly, it's as simple as that. We do not say that we founded our houses. This is ridiculous and incredible that the word founded has been thought of as built for so long. The founding fathers, they found a lot of stuff that they didn't build. Telling you is a rule for some reason. Being able to tell you something and you not understand what you're saying is still you accepting that you're being told something. This is a classic spell that is cast. It is a deception tactic. The word spelling is literally spell casting. Founded is not constructed or built. All right, let's get back to this school. What do we see here in the alumni section? We haven't found more people that found a bunch of stuff, have we? Actually, we found 6 people that seem to be good at finding things, all having something to do with this building that was found. Now, the individual who found this building is surely a great guy who wouldn't steal anything or say that a building that he finds is his, or would he? The TA, as it originally was called, was founded in 1916 by Rabbi Dr. Bernard Revel. Bernard Revel? Who is this guy? Oh, he was a great guy that was only arrested and imprisoned in Russia and then immigrated over to the United States to find this building. While in America, he struggled, though. Oh, wait, no. He married right into a rich family in 1909. All right, so enough about this guy. I think we get the point. And we have this section of the story, of course. Interesting, okay. February 9th of this current year, 2023. Okay, right, okay. Giving 1.5 million to this school, all right. And we all know about renovations. How these buildings don't need to be renovated. This is normally a way to destroy the old world. But let's check this auditorium out. Interesting. What do you think? Does this need renovation? Looks pretty incredible to me. The project is going to include the restoration of stained glass windows and ceiling. What is wrong with the windows and the ceiling? We have eyes to see. Do we need someone else to tell us that the ceiling and the glass look awesome and should be left alone? And what is this? Look at that architecture. The stonework on this place is so detailed and precise. Whoever did this was unbelievable at their job. How is this individual, or group, or construction team? How are they unknown to us? And it was supposedly built within the last 100 years. So we should definitely know who did this. That fact alone should get alarms ringing. If they could really build this place, you would have to ask yourself, why would they write the name of the whole building so pathetic? That alone should be a major red flag. For anyone that is on the fence, this is crazy. Look at how terrible that is. It is totally put on the building by our civilization, not the ones that built the building. And they do it again here. This is laughable stuff. It looks like they just put a sticker on the stone and called it a day. So here's the outside where the stained glass is going to be destroyed and redone by our advanced civilization. It is clear that these colors and this pattern is meaningful, and we simply do not understand it. It's not damaged, it's not old, it doesn't need our help. So here is the building that we are talking about. This is a photo from 1928, and I'm guessing 1928, even though it only says 28. And look at these windows, clearly being covered up by the sidewalk, more and more as we go from left to right. Very interesting. We have shown this kind of window covering before, and it shows that this building is definitely much bigger than we can see with our eyes. And who really knows what the date of this place is? That's someone's handwriting on the picture. I could have easily wrote that for all we know.
Comment just before this video finishes. Rachel makes a great point about the temples in India, Indonesia, China, etc. Also Myanmar, Burma. Myanmar, there is a load of free energy temples. There's loads there, honestly. And it's like all the countries in the world, Syria, Myanmar, Iraq, North Korea, Yemen, all these countries that have conflicts and problems that happen for the last, 3 decades, let's say. These are all countries without central banks. Work it out.
I didn't, but my point is that it's just crazy the things that we just blindly accept, just because we are told that it's true by someone or a group that has awarded themselves the leader. This picture could be from the past civilization for all we know, and our finders found their camera. Now here on the Yeshiva University website, under this founder Bernard guy's bio, they tell us that in 1928, they were supposedly granted permission to build this building that we are looking at. 1928, remember, the institution's charter was amended to authorize the granting of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees. Now, because they are allowed to give out degrees, they were now going to construct their main building. That same year, in 1928, like we talked about, the building was done, as shown in the picture from November 26, 1928. So we are now being told that this building was constructed in less than 11 months. Anyone else see these pictures? A year? 1 year to build all of this. There are massive alarms going off in this narrative. Look at the stonework alone. Less than a year? From start to finish. Which construction company was used? How many men? Where did they get the materials from? Which architect did they use? We have proven through AI, ChatGPT, that this is not possible to construct in a year. Not even close. There are so many major factors that are just brushed under the rug here in this crazy story that would need to be explained, that at this point, in my opinion, it's honestly impossible for it to be true. That ceiling alone should be questioned. This auditorium was just thrown together in a few months and still had plenty of time for the rest of the building in 11 months. It's just incredible stuff.
Rather amazing. That last segment, honestly, that blew me away last night. Anyway, we're gonna have a little bit of a pirate mix to finish off the show. What we've looked at tonight, like the airships, the airships, let me just put some on. The airships, all the stuff, like, you know, it's crazy because they have hidden so much from us. They've hidden so much from us, and it's all coming out. It is the apocalypse, 2024. 33 people watching. Right, we've got a 45-minute mix to play. Anile in the studio. Thanks for watching. I'll be back. Why do I always do this? It's pirate radio. Turn it up. Let's do it.
The Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 months before. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
It's showtime.
Sneaky little hobbitses.
Durka Allah, Muhammad Jihad. Bagala, Muhammad Jihad. Bagala, Muhammad Jihad, Allah, Durka, Muhammad Jihad. Muhammad Jihad.
Oh, shit. Come on, Gary. Act. You have the power.
Bak, Dirk Allah. Durka, Muhammad Jihad. Haki Sherpa, Bakala. Oh, Durka.
Do it this way. Set trends whether night or day. Terrorize your dance so straight. No time to waste. We keep you moving. We set the pace. Sound you can't escape.
Voodoo magic, man.
I'm great, can't underrate. Open up your mind, let the music penetrate. We liven up the dance. Time to vibrate.
Love you all, I really do. Yeah, we've got a great. It was good tonight, Kirsty, wasn't it? I slowed my brain down, slowed myself down, and the show flowed more tonight with purpose and with good topics. Thanks, Bertrand, and thanks, Rachel, Kirsty, Luke, Dragon Sage, Janet W. Thanks for enjoying the show. I do my best, and I think I'm going to start a new channel in my own real name, talking about health and intuition and guiding people through the mess. Oh, I've got to tie this clip down because we love PooTube. Right, we continue. It's really good liquid mixes. Ooh. Just to finish, right? So it's New Year. It's New. Let me put some. It's New Year in. Apparently New Year. Even though they work off the Julian calendar. So, do we celebrate it or not? I don't know. What's going on anymore?
Show them we're the real.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Time to get connected to this. Show them where the realness is. Real music.
Just one more interesting piece of information, because big up to SS as well. Just to let you know, right? I didn't actually know this, but don't quote me, but 10-15 years ago, I think about 2008 or something, Prince Charles declared himself to follow Islam. Did you know that? Quite interesting, isn't it? So that's interesting. I wonder what he's doing right now.
Durka Allah, Muhammad Jihad. Bak Allah, Muhammad Jihad.
Run it, DJ. Time to take them there.
What is Wetiko? I think
that's where our journey really kicks off here today.
In a nutshell, it's a Native American term that connotes in a way the spirit of evil, and you could say it's a psycho-spiritual disease of the soul that afflicts humanity, and it exists in a way we could say in the collective unconscious of our species, and that's to say that we all potentially have it in potential. But I'm pointing out in my work, you see, as a Westerner, as a modern Westerner, I'm actually translating this indigenous term, which is completely mind-blowingly profound. It's you know, it's like a higher dimensional idea.
Need to get me in that right mood. Change my attitude, perspective on things. It's anonymous sound system. It's drum and bass on the sound system.
1 century ago, the sky was filled with wondrous airships.
Strictly for my drum and bass lovers. All my jungle junkies. Bass addicts.
It all started because I play with Ouija boards, dabbling in black magic, trying to get in touch with Norman Batten, and I might as well emphasize it, dabbling in black magic. It's bad for your health. Don't touch the Ouija boards.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
So sweet, so right. Wanna meet some breaks, wanna meet some breaks combined. We're gonna take you there, sound to blow your mind. Wanna meet some breaks combined. We're gonna take you there, we're gonna blow your mind. Right place, right time, your time to shine. Your time to shine, so we're feeling the vibes. We're ready to roll, so we're ready to.
Hey Kirsty, did you have any punctures? Yeah, Sail Away. I'm going to be covering that. I've got it downloaded. The Antichrist and A Cup of Tea LSP Film Productions shared it last week or this week. Fascinating. Thanks, Rachel. Fascinating chat. And I'm going to be covering. I'm going to be doing a royal show over the next week or so. Glad to see my software and hardware is behaving tonight as well.
Global.
How about that? It's EKoM. It's Friday night. Turn it up.
All my Southern Bass crew. Strictly for the lovers. Lovers of good music. This is how we do things. What can I do? I'm losing you. Love was here, but now
I am Richard Branson, but allow me to remind you of who I am. I've been waiting for you. I am Richard Branson. Your life is ready for change, and it all starts right now.
And now
I am Richard Branson.
What can I do? I'm losing you. The love was here, and now it's fading away. The day is come. My biggest fear. Love was here, and now it's fading away. Now it's fading away. The love is gone, but we keep holding on. But we keep holding on. We're not that strong. The love is faded away. The love is fading away. These are the beats, these are the breaks. Plain and simple.
A little mistake there. I hate making mistakes now. I don't have to make mistakes anymore. You know what? In the words of Matthew, big love, big love, big love. We are changing as well. They're not going to win. They aren't going to win. They aren't. It looks like, you know, it's crazy, but yeah. Big up to KSTC as well. Where's Emma? Lashings for Emma.
And it don't stop. We're live in the mixture. Time to dive in. Drum and bass. You tell them drum and bass. Drum and bass sound forever. Keeping them together. Any creed or color got that bass inside. Time to move your structure. We're gonna make it hotter. Time to feel the pressure. Drum and bass sound forever. Keeping them together. Any creed or color got that bass inside. It's time to move your structure. We're gonna make it hotter. We're live up.
15 lashes should suffice.
And now, heights up. Ruthless, the rhythm right.
This is your lucky day, slave.
Time to get you live up. So sweet, so right. Caught up in the rhythm, caught up in the sound.
Here they come from District 12, our favorite, well, or my favorite.
It's right here, right now. No doubts, no question, no uncertainty. Right frequency, sound that we treasure, vibes beyond measure. It's drum and bass we prefer. Anile, it's danger.
Sometimes the lies can seem
At KSTC, yeah, that sounds good, actually. That sounds good. If we get more people watching, then yeah, that sounds good. I'm up for that. Yeah, that sounds good. I do enjoy it when I've got all my shit together. Not like mentally, like software-wise.
Tribal music. One tribe, one vibe. And it goes.
Get to the chopper!
And it goes.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
He can go about his business.
You can go about your business.
Move along.
Move along.
We reach for the heights.
showtime.
Mr. Anderson, welcome back. We missed you.
Well, there's no question when we sit it. Beats to keep you stepping. Life in every diocese, roaring every section. We come through with that hard step selection. Music for the masses. We take the decks and smash this. Kinda get hyperactive. So blazing, so amazing. We tear it lays down so flagrant. Life in the district, raw in your district. Said it's dope on plastic. We giving you the life fantastic. Said it's dope on plastic. We take the decks and smash this, now get hyperactive. Make sure you get an album from Anile, Perspective. It's out now on Med School.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
After being thrown to the ground.
Holy for the music.
12, 11, 10, 9, ignition sequence start.
It's time to get caught up in the moment. So music. Like it was pitched up. Her movements got me looking at her with distrust. I keep telling myself I need to fix up. I want to sip a life and in it for no mix up. I'm trying to look past, see the bigger picture. She's playing games and I'ma be her next fixture. I'm skinning teeth thinking I'm up in the mixture. Supporting cats, the role that she's giving me. It's her production, she sets for the scenery. Tight jeans, sweet, set a nice jewelry. Head down, sexy woman, she's moving me. The role I'm playing in the movie sound foolery. This girl's got me losing sleep. I'm a calm guy, don't lose my cool usually. Right now, this is mental abuse to me.
Alright, sorry, I think there was a couple of clips where the volume was up on that, so apologies for that.
I'm trying to lock her mind, but I ain't got no key. Reach her levels, but it's way too steep.
Kirsty, take Emma to the bilge and give her some lashings. She's late. What she didn't turn up. Emma! You're... Oh...
All we need is some music. 365, 24/7.
15 lashes should suffice. This is your lucky day, slave.
Yes or now? We got this. Trying to show them. There it is. Futuristic funk. Futuristic funk. We give you that machine gun funk, baby. Time to give them the machine gun funk. Sound
showtime.
Going crazy. We give them that machine gun funk, baby. We give you that machine gun funk, baby. We give you the machine gun funk. Sound to make you bounce around and make you go crazy. There's no time to be lazy. Trying to hit them up, trying to give them what they want. Trying to hit them up, trying to give them what they want. Lace them with machine gun funk. Trying to hit them up, trying to give them what they want.
We are bored. We're all bored now. But has it ever occurred to you, Wally, that the process that creates this boredom that we see in the world now may very well be a self-perpetuating, unconscious form of brainwashing created by a world totalitarian government based on money, and that all of this is much more dangerous than one thinks, and it's not just a question of individual survival, Wally, but that somebody who's bored is asleep, and somebody who's asleep will not say no? See, I keep meeting these people. I mean, just a few days ago, I met this man whom I greatly admire. He's a Swedish physicist, Gustav Bjornstrand, and he told me that he no longer watches television, he doesn't read newspapers, and he doesn't read magazines. He's completely cut them out of his life because he really...
Pocket back squeeze.
It is the only thing stronger than fear.
Sunlight splinters creeping through the window pane. Hung over high, feel the home sway. Hangs up last night.
I think the mixing is quite good tonight. Good tunes.
But a part of us
Everwood.
knows this will be okay. And I'm drawn to your flame, ready to be burned time and time again. Oh, and I would fight 1,000 times to lay with you just for one night.
Shouts to everyone.
Crossing blades with a pirate.
Zone out. Relax your mind, set your soul to ease. Strictly for you and yours.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
And I'm drawn to your flame.
It's a freak
And it goes.
show, and the freaks are running the show.
Time to gather around the speakers. Out to those with the drum and bass fever. Like nowadays, it's hard to know the right path to take in this. Caught up in the spotlight, momentary paralysis. Fragrance and users take the piss like dialysis. Keep pushing forward, maintain and we manage it. Stay sucker free, attain the right balances. Heard all the stories, big talk and the fallacies. Started off quick, we incline gradually. 2 steps back, enjoy all these staggered beats. Trust me, it's been the truest word I ever speak. Used to move just like a pulpit, spit a scripture like a junglist priest. Scale many hurdles to script this here journal. Every time you think you reach a peak, we push a little further. You wanna test, you get murdered. We take this sound across the border. Original trendsetter, the go-getters. Sound of a now, bad boy selector. We make the dance hall hotter. We make the dance floor hotter. Sounds of the fire burner. Year-to-year sound.
This is Zion Control.
Listen keenly again.
With trillions at his disposal, far beyond global GDP,
Listen close. Can't get enough, so we never stop giving. It's our sound, our fight. This thing is our religion. We're gonna make you dance, we're gonna make you rock non-stop. I'll be back. Can't get enough, so we're never gonna stop. It's our sound, our fight, this thing is our religion. We never
punishment without making a single sound.
Slave to the sound, you're a slave to the rhythm. Now let that bass line hit 'em, let that break beat get at 'em. I do it for the love, I just can't get enough. It's everything I need, this is everything I want. I'm never giving in, said I'm never giving up. We start from the bottom, and then we rise to the top. My people, if you love it, don't stop. We're gonna make you dance, we're gonna make you rock.
This is your lucky day, slave.
We're gonna make you dance, we're gonna make you rock. It's time to rise to the top. Music's the key. transmission. We take you on a ride on a mission.
We see a deadly sin on every street corner, in every home, and we tolerate it. We tolerate it because it's common. It's trivial. We tolerate it morning, noon, and night.
Let's do this.
Is it sometimes you just think like, do you remember the last 4 years we've lived through? Cheech McDuck, you're late. Emma. Actually, Kirsty give lashings to Emma, then Emma can give lashings to Cheech. Rachel can watch. The last 4 years, man, it's just batshit crazy. Yeah, everything's normal, Netflix and chill. Yeah.
Gouge his eyes!
Seasons is her name. You don't know what Suki, let me explain. She's the wolf on a cold winter's day.
Full English breakfast I've had since Gary Wilmot's wedding.
My pain puts a smile upon my face. My love has been restored. Restored my pride and faith. Seasons is her name. You don't know her, so please let me explain. She's my warmth on a cold winter's day. She's my summer when the sky turns gray. She's prescription for my pain, puts a smile upon my face. My love has been replaced. Restore my pride and faith. I give my life for her. She's my one and only, she's my world. She's my long song, only my ears have heard. It sounds so absurd. She touched all the right nerves, all the right places.
Now then, guys and gals, what have we here?
Trying to set it free.
Paul from Not What the Flock, Black Sheep Researcher, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. What kind of underwear you got on tonight, Paul? You got the thong on tonight. It's Friday night. Yeah, we all. Well, I wonder what Paul's got on tonight. What you got on, Pete?
It's time to warm you up. Wait when it drops.
This is Zion Control.
I'll be back.
We got your dance on lock.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
These are the beat breaks, bass lines. Well, it's like beats, we got it. Breaks, we got it. Bass inside, time to get up on it. Down beats, we got it. Breaks, we got it. Bass inside, man, it's time to get up on it.
He took his punishment without making a
Raw
single
and
sound.
hypnotic, body rocking so
This is your
shocking,
lucky day,
get up
slave.
on it. How you want it, we got it.
Gouge his eyes!
Raw my hypnotic, body rocking so shockers. You know that we got it. It's like beats, we got it. Freaks, we got it. Bass inside, man, it's time to get up on it. How much do you want it? How much do you love it? Set that sound, we're getting it hot like an oven. Time to get with this thing. Wickedest sound on the system. Draw for that bad boy rhythm. Hypnotic, body rocking, so shocking. Time to get up on it. How you want it? We got it. We set that sound and don't think nothing of it. This is music in motion. Time to free your emotions. Time to free your emotions. Time to free your emotions.
This is Zion Control.
I am Richard Branson, but allow me to remind you of who I am. I've been waiting for you. I am Richard Branson. Your life is ready to change, and it all starts right now.
This is your lucky day, slave.
I'll be back.
We roll out.
I am enjoying this mix. It's a decent mix.
Time to get jazzy. Time to get jazzy. Anile.
Good to see you, Paul. Happy holidays. Well, let's do an episode soon as well. I'll message you on Twitter.
The Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months before me. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 months before me. Either no one told me.
Out for my late night
no
vampires.
Precisely.
All ravers. Reaching out to the hospital family. Big up all the Clean Talent crew.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
DJs, all the MCs, all the producers.
He took his punishment without making a single sound.
Our soundbite for your appetite. Serving it like cooked food to get you in the mood.
I'll just interject, right? This building on screen right now, this is an old world building. Nobody talks about it. Same with Big Ben. Big Ben survived being bought, some bullshit story. But nobody talks about this. Look at the construction of it beside the huge river. What, with horse and buggy? Yeah. Believe that. You're fucking nuts, and you deserve to be the depths of society. Do you know what? It's sad though, because a lot of people do look sad around, I find. It's a bit, it's like this jingle.
The poor always being fucked over by the rich. Always have, always will.
Bad boy sound, bad boy selection. Vibes to keep you stepping.
Things are supposed to work is the government should know virtually nothing about us because we're private citizens. We're supposed to know everything about the government because they're public servants. But everything is backward right now. And also look at the media. The media is supposed to be giving us the facts, and we should be formulating our opinions based on that information. Instead, the media gives us their opinions, and we're supposed to decipher whether that's a fact or not.
Re-raise the level.
This is Ion Control.
Hold on.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Showtime.
Rhythms all the way, trust me. Sometimes I just lose my mind, 'cause that music's so damn fine. Sometimes I just
to support the political institutions and devolved government in Northern Ireland. In consultation with all
I'll be back.
trying to take them away. It's good music for my soul. Let that music take.
Just remember, the sky is always like this above the clouds.
So hold on tight now, let go. Sound without a limit. We give it sound without a limit.
S.P.Y, boy.
We give it love.
Crossing blades with a pirate.
Time to get with this. Time to rock with us. Music for the heart and soul.
This video on screen is very interesting. That's all I'm saying.
Giving me the energy, take me where I got to go, take me where I got to be. Now set it free. It's like my heartbeat.
Matty J in the house, welcome sir. How you doing? Good to see you. A bit late tonight. Right, so Kirsty's giving Emma lashings because she was late. Emma's giving... Who was the other person that was late? Someone else that was late. Then the other person that was late is going to give Matty lashings. So everybody's going to... Yeah, it's going to be good. Lashings everywhere. 2025. Nearly. It's EKoM Friday night. It's 27th of December. It's nearly the end of the apparent year.
This is Zion Control.
And it goes like that heavy motion blow, verbalized with breath control. Right about now I'm in focus mode, expertise excluded, create a perfect movement. It's all about the music and there ain't no illusion. This thing is right before your eyes, your sense of the rise, you're sleeping on it.
Hi, I'm feeling the DJing tonight. I'm actually on phone tonight. Yes, Emma. Look at Cassie, look at Emma giving the compliments out because she doesn't want many lashings.
Now feel
that knows Emma likes lashings anyway.
Body, soul.
She almost asks for them.
The rhythm ride, the sound that gets you hyped up. It's the high plane drifter. Run, come get some of these dubs. Run, come get some of these.
This is your lucky day, slave.
Sound that we need and sound that we love. Raw, my head stem can't get enough.
You're gonna need a bigger potion.
This is Zion Control.
Mr. Anderson, welcome back. We missed you.
out.
Trillions at his disposal, far beyond global GDP.
What have we here?
Burgers on the floor. Get that quick, understand? Why does it smell of wee in here?
The fuck is this joke, man?
Don't stand near me, son. Got your mouthwash muddled up with cat piss. Take 2 steps back and wait your turn.
Fuck off, old man. I'll wet you.
The only thing you can wet's your underpants, son. Now, back 2 steps.
Yeah? Do it. Fucking do it, man. Fucking do it.
Now, if you're gonna stab trigger. What are you, like a 4 Tops tribute act or something? Come on, what do you got for me? What do you got for me? Now make it quick. Make it funny.
Night of Malta.
Jeez, that's disappointing. No, not that.
Lol, the fame.
Sure. Cut me with it.
Fucking do it, lad.
Yeah,
Oh, shit. Come on, you dickhead. Back to way. My eyes.
You're embarrassing yourself here, lads. Kids, staff, girls shoot, boys punch, grown-ups fight with their heads. That's where the real battle is. Up here, in the grey.
This is Zion Control.
I understand you. It's crazy. You understand?
When all hope is gone and bridges burn and directions turn, lead us nowhere. When I'm trapped in words and can't wait my turn, and the lessons learned don't read so well.
The Matrix.
See, I reach out.
I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 minutes before me. There are only two possible explanations. There were 5 months before. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely.
Just to feel you again. Just to know you. Just to feel you again. I tell the gods who hands are turned. Believe in me, I know this so well. When I'm trapped in words and can't wait my turn, and the lessons learned don't read so well. See, I reach out in all directions. See, I preach out in all directions. Oh no. See, I reach out in all directions. See, I preach out in all directions. Just to know you. Just to feel you again. Just to know you. Just to feel you again. What? Just to know you. Just to feel you again. Just to know you. Just to feel you again. 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 I tell the gods who hands are turned. Believe
going to shut the stream down. Thanks to all that watched. If you're watching on replay, do give the show a like on your way out. In Lakesh, chat to you all soon. Ciao for now. There will be a couple of shows over the next week or so keep your eye out. Make sure your notifications are on. Ciao for now. Chemical Brothers, Alive Alone.
I can't no way of knowing if she's right or if she's wrong. No way of knowing if I'll carry on. And I'm alive, and I'm alone, and I never wanted to be either of those. And I'm alive, and I'm alone, and I never wanted to be either of those. She shines for me. No way of knowing if she's ever coming back. No way of knowing if I can alone. No way of knowing if she's right or if she's wrong. No way of knowing if I carry on. She shines for me.
Yaga yaga yo, yaga yaga yo, yaga 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 yo, yaga yaga yo, yaga yaga yo, yaga 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 yo. I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you. Yaga yaga yo, yaga yaga magic man. Yaga 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 yo. I just can't deny, can't tell no lie. You're no one that I love, no one that I love. I can't stop loving you. I made up my mind to live in memories of your love sometime. I can't stop wanting you. It's useless to say. So I'll just live my life with dreams of yesterday. Come on, give me no. Give me no.
Our favorite, or my favorite.
I'm the man you can trust, no need for act so. I just can't do without you kissing and you hugging up you more than the thing below your belly. But we no live dirty life, so this no need mapping. Make bad mind keep on watching. Me nah give away me woman, I end up with nothing. Everybody needs somebody to give good loving. So make them talk, make them talk. You are the right queen for the king. I can't stop loving you. I made up my mind to live in memories.
This is Zion Control.
I can't stop wanting you. It's useless to say. So I'll just live my life with dreams of yesterday. Yes, I miss you, but yes, I miss you, but you are the only thing me love next door to God. Yes,
freak show, and the freaks are running the show.
You are the greatest part of me happiness. Full attention, never give me nothing less.
Because I play with Ouija boards, dabbling in black magic, trying to get in touch with no man batten, and I might as well emphasize it, dabbling in black magic. It's bad for your health. Don't touch the Ouija board.
So I can't stop loving you. I made up my mind to live in memories of your love sometime. I can't stop wanting you. It's useless to say. So I'll just live my life with dreams of yesterday.
Right, we're finished. I want to play one more song. One more. Last song. This is the last song. Don't laugh. Let me find it. I've got to go in my folder. Right there. Anyway, I hope everyone's enjoyed the show. And this will finish the night off. I've got a new one. And this will do actually a different one. Not played this on the show before. Wait that. Right, the one song I picked doesn't. Do you know what? Oh, right, this will do. Actually, I made this song. This is the first edit. I'll play it. I've not played this yet. Not finished yet.
I try so hard to fade away, but something's forcing me to stay. It'd be easier for me if I turn away to flee. Oh,
I'll be back.
but there's something moving on, the way of being long gone. There's so many ways to escape, but I guess it's time to wake up, time to wake up. Far too many ways to escape, but I
Nah, that ain't working. I'm gonna change it, and this is the last song. Which one? This'll do. Might get copyrighted for it.
He doesn't mean a thing. He doesn't mean a thing to me. Just another pretty face to see. He's all over town, knocking them down, honey. And I'd never let him next to me. Well, he's the kind of guy who thinks he's smart.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
He can go about his business.
You can go about your business.
Move along.
Move along.
He didn't mean to catch my eye. Well, he's lucky he just walked on by. He hasn't met a girl like me, are you kidding? Well, I tell him that I'd rather die.
found the correct song. I'll play a little bit and I'll switch it and we'll stop. Thanks for watching. We'll cock up at the end, eh? No comment.
Get to the chopper!
She said, son, you're growing up now. Pretty soon you'll take a bride. And then she said, you better shop around. Better shop around. Oh yeah, you better shop around. Just because you become a young man now, it's still some things that you don't understand now. Before you ask some girl for a hand now, keep your freedom for as long as you can now. My mama told me, you better shop around. Oh yeah, you better shop around. There's some things that I want you to know now. I just as sure as the wind's gonna blow now, the women come and the women gonna go now. Before you tell them that you love them so now. My mama told me, you better shop around. Oh yeah, you better shop around. Better shop around. Oh yeah, better shop around.
Look at it. We got to install microwave ovens, custom kitchen deliveries. We got to move these refrigerators. We got to move these color TVs.
I try to get yourself a bargain, son. Don't be sold on the very first one. Pretty girls come a dime a dozen. I try to find one who's gonna give you true loving. Before you take a girl and say I do now, I make sure she's in love with you now. My mama told me, you better shop around. Oh no,
Install microwave ovens, custom kitchen deliveries. We got to move these refrigerators. We got to move these color TVs.
Don't let the buzz of wine get you. Oh no, 'cause I don't wanna see you with you. Before you let them hold you tight. Yeah, make sure she's all right. Better shop around. Better shop around. Better shop around.
It's no hassle. But all I'm saying, they're gonna get a. I'm just. Knock. Who's there? Look, let me tell you a little story about a man named
Even before you start, that was a preemptive shh. Just know I have a whole bag of shh with your name on it.